Hello guys, it's Kasim again. How you doing? I hope you're having a good week so far. I wanted to talk a little bit about Argent, James Argent, because he's been in the news recently. I saw his Instagram and he's made incredible work on himself, and I need to talk about him because there were some things that I wrote down about him that I found absolutely fascinating as I was reflecting on him. I was on a train journey, a 2-hour train journey yesterday, and I wanted to share them with you, and I hope maybe you might find them useful in some way in your life. Guys, if you want to help me get to 1,000 subscribers by June, please can you like and subscribe to my channel? You would be an absolute legend. Thank you very much. Okay, cool. So let's talk about James Argent. If you haven't already seen, which I'm sure you have, he's lost an incredible amount of weight. I mean, it's unreal. He's gone through literally a transformation in his life. And as you know, I study people who are anomalies, people who do things that they shouldn't have, that are beyond their current circumstances. So I found him absolutely fascinating. And I wrote down, as I say, I wrote down some things here. And one of the first things that I wrote down here is own it and admit to yourself the problems that you have in your life. Everyone has struggles. Look around you, and also you need to get serious. And the last thing that I wrote down in regards to that is it might take some time to figure it out. Okay, cool. So I think it's pretty easy for us to all agree at some point. If you haven't looked at other people or yourself, you won't agree with this. But if you have, it's easy to agree that all of us are damaged in some way due to our childhood. Okay? It doesn't matter whether your parents were millionaires, you were born into a billionaires family. It doesn't matter whether you started off on a council estate. Each one of us has our own emotional scars and traumas that we go through. But as I say, some people's are worse, some people's are better. But neither I remember I was listening to a woman called Esther. I can't remember her name, but she said that there is no hierarchy in suffering, meaning that look, if I went through a relationship and somebody broke my heart, it still hurt me. Versus if somebody else went to they were tortured in a war camp. Yes, they went through trauma as well, but it doesn't mean that what I went through is any less important than what they went through. We both went through something. So that's the first thing. And I think if you recognize that all of us have gone through some trauma, here's what I actually think. If you've genuinely realized that you have gone through some trauma and you have got baggage behind you, go to therapy. Okay? Most people will never know that you even went to therapy, but I think it's really important, and that's why I said that you've got to own it. Own it and admit to yourself, because it doesn't matter what I have a belief, which is that every single one of us has a battle that we have to fight in life. Whether that be that no matter what we do, our parents never accept us, they never love us for who we are. It may be alcohol, it may be obesity. Every single one of us has our own different battle. And the thing is, if you don't defeat the battle will defeat you, right? So for example, in Argent's case, the doctors told him, if you don't manage to handle and manage your weight, it is going to kill you, right? And so as part of that, Argent had to get serious, and that's why I said you have to get serious at some point. You have to get serious at some point and own it. I talk about the fact that, particularly when I coach leaders, that the root of manhood is responsibility. You cannot truly be a man until you've taken full responsibility, until you've owned shit. Of course, yeah, you would have gone through stuff. You may have been betrayed. Your childhood might have been difficult. Your parents might have passed away. You may have been sexually abused. You may have been neglected. Yes, I get it. We've all had our own problems. But now, the question is, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to go to therapy? Are you going to seek counseling? Are you going to start working on yourself? Are you going to start skilling up yourself? Whatever it may be that you need to do, are you going to go out there and seek help? Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. Asking for help is a sign of strength, because you're basically saying, look, I want to become valuable. I want to help people. I want to be a good model citizen. And I realize if I'm hurting, if I'm wounded, then I cannot really be of any use to anybody. In fact, that means I'm being selfish. What does the definition of selfish? The definition of selfish is to be a burden to other people. Being selfish means that I know that I have cracks, that I know that I have damage, and I refuse to accept that I have damage. I'm going to live in denial. I'm going to operate my life from trying to hide all of my imperfections and flaws. All of us have imperfections. All of us have flaws. There is nobody who is perfect, right? And if you can find that perfect person, I would love to have a chat with them. It may appear that their life is perfect because you're looking at the facade. But actually, if you look down deeper and you open things up and you begin to examine, you may find that what this perception that you have been portrayed by people isn't truly the reality. I actually, being a counselor or training to be a counselor, one of the things that I have is anytime that I meet anybody who is perfect on the outside, everything looks perfect, my red flags and my alarm bells start going off, because I'm like, to actually look perfect and to maintain a perfect exterior is a very difficult thing, because if your outside all looks perfect, that means you're not focusing on what is most important, which is the inside, right? Because you're trying to maintain this persona, this facade, right? And so I get very, 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 very weary whenever I meet people who I can't see any flaws in them, right? Or I can't see that they've done anything wrong, or I can't see that they've got imperfections. I get very, very weary of these individuals. I'm not looking, because also, if I meet somebody and they are perfect all the time, that means they're going to hold me to that standard. That means I have to be perfect all the time, and I can't be expected to be perfect all the time, right? I'm human. I make mistakes. I'm trying to figure it out. Nobody has all the answers. Nobody knows everything. So that's the first thing. Own it, right? Whatever your issue is, own it and do whatever it is that you have to do to step into your greatness, to get your life sorted so that you can improve your life. But that all starts with taking responsibility. That means that as much as your parents might want it for you, your brother may want it for you, your work may want it for you, ultimately, if you don't want it for yourself, out of pride, out of ego, out of self-preservation, you'll never own it, because you're still waiting, you're the victim, you're still waiting for somebody else to come in and save you and rescue you, not you rescuing yourself and you swimming to the shore. So that's the first thing. Second thing that I wrote down here is that we all have a color, and most of us the world never sees our actual true color. So I have a belief, which is that all of us have two colors in life. Okay, so we have the first color, which is our true color. That may be red, blue, green, whatever it is. And then we have a persona. We have a different color, which is the facade, which is the gap. There is like a gap between the color we are and the color that everybody else sees. And we have to have that because, for example, if we are in a business meeting, we may not necessarily act in the same way as we act when we're at home with our missus, with our children. So there has to be a certain color that we use in order to act professionally, in order to be civilized in society. And I think what many of us end up doing is we end up focusing so much on the persona, on the color that we want other people to see, that we forget to expose our true color, which may be blue, and we end up only showing people the purple, which is not actually who we are. And the thing is, this is where you have people develop multiple personality disorder. This is where you have people get into a space where they lose sense of who they are. They're like, who have I become? In fact, if you look at a lot of relationships, when people go into therapy, one of the things that they really struggle, I was listening to a woman called Esther Perel, and she was talking about why people cheat. And she was saying that one of the reasons why people cheat is because they're trying to escape who they've become as a result of the relationship. They've become somebody who they don't recognize. They're so shocked at the person they've become because they've had these two colors, the color of who they actually are and the color that they wanted to portray, and they focus so much on the outside color that they've forgotten about who they're actually their actual internal color. Right? They've been a mother, they've been the perfect housewife, but they've forgotten, hold on a minute, I'm a best friend as well. Hold on a minute, I'm a woman as well. I have my own needs, I have my own desires, I have my own passions and my hobbies. And so what I will share with you, and it's something that you want to think about, is have you actually been focusing on your authentic color? on your real color, on the color that matters most? Or are you focusing most of your attention on what you want other people to see, on what you want other people to judge you as? Just something for you to think about. The last thing that I wrote down here is that success amplifies everything. I wrote that down because a lot of us, we think that if I become successful, if I have a lot of money, if I make it, Kasim, then all my problems are going to be solved. But this is what I call an inconvenient truth. An inconvenient truth is something that you hear that is you don't want to hear. It opposes everything that you thought. And one of the inconvenient truths that I've discovered is that success amplifies who you are. If you're a selfish person at the core and you don't give money to charity and I give you £2 million, do you honestly think that you're going to start giving loads of money away to people? No, you're not. You're going to be even more defensive. You're going to say, why in the world would I give it to people? It's mine. I earned it. It was given to me. Why would I give it to you? Right? If you are somebody who's naturally giving and you give even when you don't even have a lot, and now I give you £2 million, you're just going to amplify. You're just going to give even more, right? And of course, on this same token, if you're somebody who has got trauma, who's got stuff that you deep down you're struggling with, and you become successful, that is all going to be amplified because the stress is going to be amplified. The anxiety is going to be amplified because now when you get haters, and it's one of the things, right? One of the things that comes with success is you get more haters. More people doubt that more people doubt why you are where you're at. More people criticize you, right? And as a result, everything, all your anxieties, all your insecurities, all of it gets amplified. And that's, of course, what happened in James Argent's situation. He had all of this stuff that he hasn't dealt with. And as he became more and more and more successful, everything, he started drinking more, he cared less about his weight, like everything just began to be amplified. And so what I'm saying to you is, if a lot of you are going to be saying, Kasim, when I get married, everything will be sorted. When I find my partner, everything will be sorted. When I have children, everything will be sorted. I'm telling you that it isn't, right? It's going to be amplified if you end up becoming successful in whatever area that you're going to have. You think that if you are struggling with insecurity, imagine when you get into a relationship. You're going to feel the need to constantly control your partner. You're going to need to get affirmation from your partner all the time. It's going to be madness, right? Now, in me saying that, one of the things that I've also learned in life is that to truly realize who you are as a human being, you actually need other people. You know, you hear people say you should go and be alone and find yourself and then get into a relationship. That's not actually true. You can't do that because part of discovering who you are is in relation to other people. You examine who you are, what you believe, what is right, beliefs are, what is right, what is wrong, what you stand for, what you don't stand for. You get to see how you interact with other people, your ego, whether you get angry, whether you get frustrated, when you get into conflict with people, how do you handle it? And you can't learn all of that stuff about yourself if you're alone, if you don't engage with other people within society. So the thing that I thought might be useful for you to think about in your own life is, if you were to become successful, what would success amplify in your life? And the question then that you want to think about is, what do you need to deal with? What are you avoiding dealing with because you think if you become successful, if you get married, if you have kids, if you have a lot of money, if you move to a nicer neighborhood, if you get older, then it will be sorted. Those are the three things that I was thinking about as I was reflecting on James Argent. But I just love his incredible success that he's made in terms of his weight. It is absolutely amazing. Do you agree with me? Let's have a dialogue. Let's have a conversation. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. So obviously comment below. But apart from that, thank you very, very much for watching. I really appreciate you sort of sending me commenting and watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you want to help me get to 1,000 subscribers by June. Thank you very much, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.